Hi, my name is Selema Masekela. I'll say it for you one more time. Selema Masekela. And you are listening to the What Shapes Us podcast. I am so excited. If you see my face right now, and you're watching, not just listening, you're like, why is Selema so excited? Well, for one, this is the What Shapes Us podcast. This is the place where we have discussions about the incidents and accidents that shape us into human beings. And that's a subject that, as you know, if you are not a first-time listener, we get excited about. The second thing I'm excited about is our guest. This guy. He's an artist. You know, some people ride surfboards, others are painters. And I feel like we have like one of the Van Goghs of surfing on the podcast today. He is an artist. He's a competitor. He's an explorer. He's many things. He is an entrepreneur. We'll talk about the businesses that he's started up with really wonderful intention. He is a philosopher, a meditator. He is someone who looks at the dance of professional surfing and the act of surfing with a very, very unique lens. The one and only, all the way. He came all the way from Oahu in Hawaii to come and join us. Koa Smith.
Yes. Wow. Thank you for that intro.
You're
That's
welcome.
all I needed to hear. I'm done now.
Okay. And thank you. That was a great episode.
We're going to write that down.
Oh, I left out a 3-time NSSA national champion.
That's really important.
That's super important.
17 lifetimes ago, when that was all that mattered in life.
It was a thing.
It was the thing.
There was a time in professional surfing, and for those of you who aren't surfers that are listening, it's the National Scholastic
Surfing
Association. Whew. And it used to be a big deal that not only were you a good surfer, but if you had the grades to go with it, the scholastic part with the surfing, it made you an even bigger deal.
Yeah, I homeschooled, so we have to just write those ones in.
NSA champion. They dropped the S.
No, thank you so much for having me on your podcast, and yeah, excited to just dive in.
Why are you in California?
My fiance lives in San Clemente, so this is a nice place to kind of build camp, and while Hawaii's sleeping, kind of come here and
gently napping in the summertime.
The sleeping giant. Also, I've over the years become really close to Griffin and Crosby, so whenever they're in town, it's pretty exciting to be around them. They're getting ready for the Lowers Pro. So
Griffin and Crosby Colapinto, they are brothers on the World Championship Tour.
Yes.
In the history of brothers, the small but mighty history of brothers on the World Tour, they are holding their own.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy, and they're just getting started, especially Crosby. I mean, he had a pretty wild year this year, just breaking his elbow on the first, right before the first event, and then like
had to sit out 2 events.
Yeah, coming back, making the cut, and I think where we all connect is just sitting with our emotions and being able to have those conversations. What's going through your mind? What are we going to do about it? And just, we're just kind of on this path together, and it's really, really interesting.
It's really cool to watch. I watched an episode actually of your YouTube show, which if you don't follow Koa Smith on YouTube, you should. There's no one else in professional surfing that takes the viewer on a journey of what it actually feels like from inside your body to experience waves, waves of consequence, building relationship with the ocean, the physical act of it, but also like you have this innate ability to communicate like the heart, mind, spiritual dance and sort of the metaphors that you're presented with out in the ocean, and applying them to real life. It's really cool what you do, man.
Thank you. Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, I feel like, yes, my parents raised me, but I feel like I was raised by the ocean a lot of the time. And putting that into words, like I just remember there was this time in my life where I just feel so comfortable in the ocean, but then it was like time to learn how to communicate and time to like learn how to, I guess, navigate the real world and face the issues on land and relationships and all that stuff. But it's like a full thing. Like I'm so comfortable in the ocean, and then you get into big waves and everything just gets enhanced, and that relationship is so intense and so beautiful.
Yeah, it requires an immense amount of presence. You're very raw and vulnerable in what you're experiencing, and I think it just gives people a really unique glimpse. The last episode that I watched was you with Griffin and Crosby at Rocky Point.
Okay.
Just having a blast, and it was cool to see a glimpse into your relationship, because for people who aren't familiar, in pro surfing, there's kind of two camps. You started off in the competitive draw as a youngling, and then made this choice to be like, peace and love, but I'm going to spend more time exploring the act and the exploration of the globe and finding waves. You'll still occasionally throw on the jersey and get after it, but for different reasons. The World Championship Tour it's F1. It's a Formula One tour of surfing, high stakes, got to get points, stay on tour, the sponsors. And for a lot of surfers, men and women who compete, their vision can become really shrink down into just this like hyper competitive space. And it's almost like surf to survive, right? And so they can be less introspective as a result and just locked in. And that's what I love about your relationship with Griffin and Crosby, is that when all of y'all together, you can't really tell who's on tour and who's not. There is this collective sharing of like, we're in this for like continued growth, almost like in a quantum like energy connective deal. And they use the meditation and really looking a lot deeper to show up on tour, not really jocked out. Like they're competitive, but like you, their perspective is very much like, like let me just bathe in the presence of what this entire thing is.
Yeah, for sure. They're both very spiritually connected. And it's funny, I'm like on this other side where I'm just exploring this other side of the potential of surfing, and then they're just like so locked in and so inspiring to me, and how good they surf is crazy. But yeah, I always wanted that. I always wanted to be on the World Championship Tour. Like I grew up on Kauai with Andy and Bruce being like my superheroes, you know, walking superheroes. And that's all I wanted to do. I wanted to be on the championship tour. And then it's just crazy how with social media and YouTube, Instagram, I guess, yeah, social media has changed the whole story of how you can make it as a pro surfer. And I found myself being on the Challenger Series 2 or maybe 3 years ago now. Gosh, is that 3 years ago? And I was like, I'm just gonna give it one more try.
I remember the posts.
Yeah,
when you were like,
this is my life goal, and I have this other opportunity. At the time, Hawaii only had one qualifying event, and it was at Pipeline. So I made it, and I was like, whoa, I guess through surfing Pipeline, I just made it to the Challenger Series, which is battling on waves that are knee high, and every wave's the same. So now I got to learn that one. But through that process of going all in there, I locked in with Barton Lynch on my surfing coach. I had a full-time trainer. I was training every single day. And I just really wanted to give it my all, you know? And then through that process, I was like, wait, like I found myself surfing these just the worst waves ever. And it's like pouring rain. I'm out there alone. It's cold. I'm like trying to learn how to do these like little wiggles. And I was like, I could spend just as much money as I'm spending and go anywhere I want in the world to absolutely score waves. And if I was making videos on that and making content on that, my career would be blooming in its own way and I'd have all this freedom. And I was like, that was kind of like I was like, no, I'm all in. I'm all in. And then that's got over here. But then it's funny how the universe works. I ended up after the second event, tearing my labrum and just was out for the rest of the year.
Yeah.
Couldn't do it.
You no longer had the ability to even try.
Yeah. I was like, oh yeah, here, you know what? You're kind of back and forth on this. I'm giving you a very direct path here. Here you go. So
do you think that giving it that college try sort of gave you the ability to make peace with like, okay, done, like that dream, I don't even have to think about it anymore. I can now be wholly dedicated to this direction, even though some people would perceive it as failure. Like you went to go and do the thing that was your lifelong dream, and that injury took you out. You easily could have taken another. You could have responded to that differently.
For sure, I think in my experience with getting injured, it's an injury has never let me down. It's taught me so much about who I am. It's given me time and space to learn how to enjoy life in different avenues. And I just think it's just perfect putting you on your path. And yeah, interesting.
That's powerful. And injuries never let me down. That's a really big statement.
Yeah, and I think surfing can be really addicting. I think a lot of people don't really realize how addicting surfing can be. It gives you that good feeling, that adrenaline, especially surfing good waves, especially surfing big waves. And when you don't have that, you can kind of go a little stir crazy. And I think
I need my fix.
Yeah, where's the waves? And then especially with social media, you're like, oh, someone's getting barreled over here. That could be me. I want to be over there, you know? And for me, injuries have taught me, like you either just suffer in that or you start learning how to stay in the barrel on land. And I think that has been a big one for me, to where I'm able to just kind of be happy and be like really content without needing something or anything, really.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of been my superpower.
I like that term, staying in the barrel on land, because the barrel of a wave is a very, very fast event in which like you go into a whole other dimension. But when you are inside of the barrel and you enter into this next dimension, the manner in which time slows down and you're able to recollect being inside the barrel or being inside a tube, in all of the little nooks and crannies of nuances of what this, in your case, because I'm speaking from the mortal side of the fence, and then over here is this guy who's on the Mount Olympus side of the fence. So for me, longest barrel I ever got was 5 seconds. Shit felt like a minute. I always go back to that too. It was in Tavarua at restaurants, and I'm just like, every single little chandelier and step and and what the reef looked like. Sometimes I'll just like sit and daydream about that wave.
Yeah, it's a positive trauma.
Positive trauma, but it's so slow.
Mm-hmm.
It's like this bit, like when I go back to it, it's a longest experience. In your case, I think what's your longest is like 20 something seconds.
Yeah, 27 seconds.
27 seconds at Skeleton Bay in Namibia, which in its own right like rocked the world. You showcased it through a GoPro in your mouth, and took people through this perspective of what it felt like to be in the tube that like blew people's brains and like transcended surfing. Right?
Yeah,
Made people extremely curious.
I think that was a cool timing vibe too, because that was right when the GoPro was enjoyable to look at, you know, where you could actually kind of see through it. But yeah, I mean, and I'm very grateful for GoPro to make that, because if I would have done that and just tried to tell my friends about it later, I don't know if they would have believed me. But also in my mind, like you said, it's very slow and it's also very fast.
Yeah.
A lot of the times you kick out and you just have no idea where you went, what you have a feeling. But a lot of like sometimes you'll just remember one fragment that'll bring that feeling back, but you won't remember what happened. And I think that's going back to that. That's that feeling of peer presence, peer connection. You're not overthinking. You're just doing whatever it takes to get through that wave, and you're looking at everything so closely and acting and reacting. I keep going like this because that's literally what you're doing.
Yeah.
And then that just brings this like ultimate feeling of connection and oneness and presence. And then you kick out and you're just like, full body orgasm.
Yeah. Which it's a different journey, but recovery from an injury is very much that same hyper required presence. Like you can't run from it. You have to deal with the thing, and it's a roller coaster, and you don't know what's going to happen. You just have to stay pointed in the right direction. And then when you get that license of like, oh, my body's back. I've healed this thing. You do feel like you just got kicked out of the best wave ever. The appreciation feelings.
Yeah. You have a greater appreciation for everything.
Yeah.
Like just getting in the water and catching a small wave. You're just like, oh my gosh. Then you need a bigger wave and a bigger wave.
then you're back
Adrenaline.
to being a full on addict.
Yeah.
You have a very old soul. Like I've known you for, I think, since you were a teenager.
For sure.
And I always think about our relationship when I like, and the connection and the time we spend talking, whether it's in the water, on land, or in the sauna, and I always come away being like, this dude's been here before. Your perspective is like someone who's lived 1,000 years. I often wonder where and how you develop that, because I've spent time with your parents, who are just righteous, but I'm curious sort of where that came from. Your brother also possesses elements of that, that puts you in a different lane than your peers, like not above them, but I watch the speed at which your peers move, and it's not that you don't get excited, but you possess this observance that I think has served you very well at a young age.
Thank you very much. I think that just is who I am. And the older I'm getting and the more experiences I'm having, I'm learning that I can trust that and shift into that. And that's actually who I am. Where maybe when I was younger or a teenager, you're just like almost like pushing stuff down. And like I didn't know that I could like trust my inner voice, even though it seems like everyone's saying yes, but like inside it's a no for me. And then being able to, instead of just being like, oh yeah, whatever, do it, and then you just don't feel good about it. I think through good mentorship, through injuries, through plant medicine, finding meditation, it just is making that voice louder and louder, and I just let that thing drive.
Mm.
Yeah.
How did you get interested and curious about the other side? When I say the other side, I mean there is a powerful vulnerability that you have chosen to sit in and lead with. Magic seat. You see that? I said powerful vulnerability, and the seat was like, yeah,
The other side.
let's go to the other side. But a powerful vulnerability that sort of guides you. Where did that kind of, where does that begin from? Is it meditation? Where does it begin? Because like as we were talking about before, it's not just you, but you and Griffin and Crosby and a handful of others have chosen to not just do this on the side. Like we don't just like meditate on the side, or engage with plant medicine on the side, but like we are going to lead with this and sort of show up embodying that spirit and energy in a space in surfing, which that can be like, as much as it is like everyone's woo-woo spiritual want to do the thing, there can be like a deeply toxic side to the selfish competitive nature of this thing. And I think it's very, very refreshing. But it's also bold to show up with like being in the raw vulnerability and of the journey.
Well, I think that maybe the root of it was always trying to be better version of myself, and having surfing is that direct reflection. Once I started really noticing and owning my weak points and being able to see it and be like, no, that's your weak point. Then it allows you to work on that weak point and essentially make it your strong point. I think like just to thread through a little life adventure, I talked about surfing being very addicting, and also like growing up with that older generation that like not only was sending big waves amazing, but sending it surfing and sending it partying and keeping that adrenaline going. I was on that side, and I was like, my peers are doing this. So you catch big waves and then you go and you party hard. And if you can party really hard and have the hottest chick and drink the most and be cool doing drugs, then you're the man. And that's how you get to where you're trying to go, Koa. And like very quickly, I realized that is not bringing me closer to my goals and stuff, because I started getting injured. And I couldn't surf because I was too tired, and I was just kept getting injured. And then for me, it was a gnarly head injury that just sat me down. And it was not like a little knee strain or, you almost broke your foot, you get like 3 weeks off or whatever. It was like a hard hit on the head.
For context, you almost died.
Yeah. I had
an injury at Pipeline.
I had NEOS. In Indonesia. Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. And this was like, I was at Skeleton Bay where I got that really long barrel. This was maybe the following year, 2 years later. And I was in Skeleton Bay for 3 weeks. I got another like mind blowing wave. It was kind of like breaking the internet. I got back to Oahu for 1 day, and then there was this crazy swell going to Indonesia. And I just jumped on a plane and went, and it was just like very like, this is my moment. I got to just push through all these feelings that I'm having. This is my moment to prove who I am. And I went to Indonesia. I had like a cranked neck, like you couldn't even move. I was like, I don't care. I'm going on.
Listening.
Yeah. Because this is, And I grew up surfing a wave that was similar to this wave, so it felt like an opportunity to be able to like shine. And I,
Was that wave in Kauai?
yeah,
Starts with an N.
just no comment.
Okay. I know the wave that you're speaking of.
Yeah, but and then I paddled out and I got like one warm up wave. I got another one, kind of felt good, and then I went over a wave and there was just this huge set, upcoming swell, double up. Never surfed this wave before, but felt super familiar. And I just whipped and went. And as I bottom turned up, I noticed it was just too deep. It was a closeout. And when I jumped, I went to jump. And as soon as I jumped, the lip hit me and it shot me forward instead of like trying to like penetrate through. And
for context, the lip is.
Yeah, I mean, the barrel was bigger than this room, and so right when I jumped, it projected me forward, and what I think happened is I hit my head on my board, on my back of my head, because something happened. I just remember a brrr, and then next thing you know, it was the most peaceful violin music I've ever heard playing. Just most peaceful violin. Everything was blue, and I was just like, I'm home. It felt like that. And then I had this one vision where I was up above the whole bay of Nias looking down, and I could see the boats in the channel. I could see my friends surfing. I could see the wave, everything. And then all of a sudden I just felt a again. And I was like, whoa, I'm underwater. I'm underwater. Don't black out. Don't black out. I'm underwater. Get yourself to the surface. Got myself to the surface and was like, whoa, got myself on my board. And I was like hoping there wasn't another wave. I think I had to duck dive one more wave, which is also very scary because I'm like, fuck, I'm blacking out, And I got to the channel and I was like, I hit my head on my board, like paddling. And then I like looked and I had coral head. I had coral scratches from my whole arm and then the whole back of my head. So I think what happened was I hit my head on the board, knocked out, and then I hit my head again on the reef, and that might have shook me back because I was like, it's my board, but then I had my whole back, arm, head was all, just like scratched with coral head. And in that moment, I had one other concussion before, so I knew what it felt like. It's like super confusing. Like all of a sudden you have no idea where you are. You have no idea what you're doing and you're just in this weird space. And then it comes back and you're like, oh, I'm paddling. Oh, I'm at Nias. Oh, you hit your head. Okay, we got to get in. For some reason, I told people I was okay and didn't need help in. Even though I've never surfed this wave, I didn't know how to get in, And I had these moments where I was paddling and then all of a sudden I'd be like, where am I? What am I doing? And then I'd be like, oh my God. And I'd come to and I'd be paddling in the wrong direction. And then I'd be like, okay, Koa. And instead of like, you can easily start freaking out. Oh, fuck, what's happening? Oh my God. It's just like, you're okay. You're going to get through this. One breath at a time, one paddle at a time. And then I would start paddling. And I was just noticing and just like, whoa, this is crazy. And then I'd be like, wait, what am I doing? Where am I? And I'd be paddling in the wrong direction again.
So you're ping-ponging through this duality of self.
Exactly, yeah. And then I was like, where? I don't even know where I'm staying. How am I going to get home? And then I was like, don't even worry about it. It's all good. And then, that played out into a long recovery, like a year plus.
You had to get airlifted out of there, right? Or
no, it was interesting. I stayed for 3 days in Nias, which was scary because I didn't know what was happening. I was just telling myself it was all good. And then I ended up going to Bali, but then people were like, oh, you shouldn't fly long distances. So I ended up going up to Ubud, rented a villa and just like chilled super hard.
Maybe I can chill my way out of this.
Exactly. Yeah. And I was just like in the jungle, just sleeping all day and just like eating really good. And I actually felt really good. And I was like, okay, I'm fine. And I had this contest coming up, the US Open. And I went to the US Open. I surfed my first heat. I was like, I'm fine. I can't believe
How
it.
long after this?
Maybe like 2 weeks after. But something happened after my heat. I was in the competitors area, and you know how overstimulating that is. And something just snapped in me. And all of a sudden, noise, lights, any conversation, word finding, I just like couldn't do. I couldn't do it anymore. So from then on, for like a couple months, I had to go headphones, Mozart. Mozart in the headphones is like the most peaceful thing ever. If I went outside, I had to go glasses, headphones. And then, yeah, I mean, the whole journey is, it's a long, long story, but,
and there's probably some violent anxiety
for sure. I mean,
attacks. And
I didn't know what I was going to do with my life. I didn't know how I was going to make money. I didn't know. And then that was where like, oh, you can't surf anymore. And people are telling you, if you hit your head again, you can become a vegetable. You should never surf again. And I'm like, what? Like trying to live with that, you know? This thing that like not only is the way I make my income, but also it's my connection to life. It's what makes me feel most connected. And
it's how I live.
Yeah, you're telling me I can't do that, you know? So there was a lot of weirdness, and I guess this takes me into starting my journey with plant medicine and stuff like that. But it ended up like maybe 9 months into it, turning into like a depression situation where I couldn't feel anything. It was such an interesting feeling. I couldn't even really feel sadness, and I couldn't feel happiness. I was just in this mundane, just like
purgatory, like emotional purgatory.
Yeah, I couldn't feel love. I was surrounded by my family who loves me so much. I was in a relationship at the time that was beautiful, and I just couldn't feel anything. And it was so weird. And one thing that kind of got scary was I called them like slippery thoughts, where I would have a thought and then that thought would replay over and over and over and over and over until my head would start burning physically, and I'd have to like call someone or jump in the ocean or go in the forest to like silence it. And sometimes those thoughts would be like about suicide and stuff. So it would be like, oh, this is the only way you could get out of it. You could get out of it right now. Yeah, you could do it. No. And my head would just like start smoking. It was so gnarly. And after that, I was like, fuck, maybe I should get antidepressants or something like that, you know, before this gets too gnarly. So I got antidepressants, but I was like, fuck, this isn't me. Like, I'm not someone, like, I know that I can heal myself, and I know that nature is the way to do that. And what I need to do is I need to go camping for like 5 days, no phone, and just be deep in nature and just see what happens.
10 toes down.
Just like get back to being a human and see what like I can hear from that. And at the same time is when that documentary with Paul Stamets came out, Fantastic Fungi. Have you seen that one?
Yeah.
It's insane.
So good.
In that documentary, he has a story about how he cured his stuttering. It was the first time he did psychedelics. He did like 5 grams. He got stuck in this lightning storm. He was up in a tree, and he's like, I gotta stop stuttering. I gotta stop stuttering. I gotta stop stuttering. And then he woke up the next morning, and he never stuttered again in his life. So I saw that, and I was like, that's what I need to do. I'm going to do that.
Nature and a macro dose.
Nature and a hero journey, you know, and that's exactly what I did. And something happened in that experience where my heart exploded. I had a conversation. I got to hang out with my child self. This voice was yelling at me, telling me that I'm a good person and that I just need to trust myself in my healing process and to not ask for help and just trust your inner voice. It gave me a step-by-step routine to implement. And
like you call it download.
Yeah, proper. and so my heart exploded. I could feel again. And then I had this step-by-step routine that included getting on the cleanest diet program, really high quality water, hydration, no coffee. I was smoking a little weed at the time. No more smoking weed. No alcohol at all. And a big one for me was I felt like I needed to please people and like go to a barbecue or like go to this family thing. And it was like, don't do anything that you don't think you should do.
Say yes to you first.
Exactly. Yeah. And then like finding your line and never going over it, because on the healing process of a concussion, it's not like you can feel your knee and just be like, if you have a knee injury, like, oh yeah, I could probably go for a little run, you know? You're like, whoa, I'm feeling good today. I'm going to go work out. And then you work out and you're like, oh shit, I went too far. And then 3 weeks you're in the bed, you know? So a big one was finding that line and
honoring it.
Exactly. But after that one experience, I never had depression again. I was surfing Pipeline a month later, got a crazy wave. And I had a couple experiences with little head slaps that kind of brought me back to like being lightly concussed. But for the most part, I'm like completely healed from my head injury. And it's an ongoing thing. But yeah, that was pretty life altering.
That's incredible. Experience. How long ago now was it?
I think that was 2016.
Yeah.
Or 2018. Maybe 2018.
Yeah. That is a powerful story.
Yeah.
And I know it's expansive within that, but the depth of choice of yourself in that moment, because with brain injury, unlike it's funny, it's not even funny, but like you said, you mentioned knowing when to be able to like push your knee because you're familiar with like what that joint is capable of. But also if you have like a severe knee injury to the outside world, you might have a limp. You might be wearing a brace or a cast, and people can have an instant level of empathy, sympathy, compassion, care based on what they can visibly see. You are wounded.
Yeah.
You can explain what you're feeling with a head injury 80 ways to Sunday.
Yeah, for sure.
And people, for the most part, are going to be like, huh, but I don't see that in you. You're not just, so they can do their best that they can to believe you and try to digest it. But if they can't visibly see it in you, it becomes a very hard thing for people to have it, to know how to have empathy for and to see. And it's like people who are grieving, they're doing so in silence. And everyone else kind of goes on with life around you. And you're like, I'm fucking dying.
Yeah. And yeah, I think, I don't know if there's a change or if it's just my friend group or whatever, but I feel like we're able to open up more, and that's actually more authentic and more attractive than like, look at me, I'm the fucking man.
Right.
Look at how cool I am. Have you noticed how cool I am lately? I've been telling you. Which I think's pretty apparent right now, but more so it's like, hey, like
there's a lot of that in the world.
Yeah. I'm going through this right now, and also watch me get through it and watch what happens on the other side when I actually sit with it, deal with it, learn from it, and then just shine on the other side, you know?
Yeah. If you could fast forward, and you look through your quantum dimension crystal ball of what you would like the next 10 years to look like relative to what you've learned in these last 10 years, what do you see?
I see tapping more into like physically helping people, I want to sharpen the tools that I've learned. And I feel like with AI and technology and everything getting more and more down that way, I want to be here on this side to remind you that you're a human and kind of teach you how to get back to connection. I see myself starting a family soon. I'm engaged now, so that's like
You sure?
it's just an amazing step. And for me, I feel like my life purpose is to raise children around this love and understanding, and yeah, kind of just like tapping in and really just seeing what I truly have in here to offer. So that's the goal right there.
Well, you are wonderfully on the path, my friend. It is it's truly an honor to sit and have this conversation with you, and you know, to have watched you from a teenager grow into this place that you are today, whilst dancing through the different battles of what it means to become a professional surfer. You know, becoming a pro surfer at the highest level is a two-edged sword in what is asked of you. And watching you navigate, you know, representing for everyone else, which is that's what you're supposed to do. You know, represent for the brands, represent for your friends who want you to be a certain way, and making a very big choice that wasn't sustainable, and deciding to really invest wholly in the totality of you, and then using that to show up in this role. It is really, really powerful to witness, man.
Thank you. Yeah, I feel like I'm just kind of getting started on it. So yeah, it's exciting. It's trippy. Yeah.
The benefits are strong.
Yeah.
Well, I look forward to sitting in some more ice and heat with you this winter, getting some surf with you while you're here in California. And I just really, really thank you for stopping by and choosing to be so open.
Yeah, thank you. I feel like as this came up, I was like, I feel like a good deep conversation to even remind myself what I'm up to is like very needed, you know? Because I mean, nowadays, unless you have a close friend group, like you get in and out, and everyone's super busy. There's tons to do. The to-do list is endless. There's people to please. There's all this and that, and just to sit down and just break shit down is super important.
It is important, and you may not realize it, but the what you've shared today, even in this small space, is going to help people into perpetuity. That's the powerful thing about getting to have a conversation like this. And so I thank you for being, again, for just really choosing to come in and just be like, all right, let's go.
Yeah. Thank you for the opportunity.
It's rad.
Yes.
And we got to shred. And I think I'm gonna have to order one of those boards, my dude.
I think you should.
I think I will.
Change your life forever. Guaranteed. 100%.
All right. Or your money not back.
Or you can order another one with a different shape. Full price. No.